My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. And this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But this is the most frustrating game ever because I love so much of it, but I also hate plenty at the same time. So let's begin talking about the cast, and Nolan North as Nathan Drake is once again just perfect. Funny, smart, a badass, just everything you want in a leading man. Richard McGonagall as Sully is in this game a lot more, and he's always just a great presence. He's loyal, he's smart, he's tough. I love this character. Emily Rose is back as Elena Fisher, and she's not in this game as much, but still a really great character. There's one fantastic moment where Nathan tells her to leave, and then she comes back just in time to save his ass, and it's just fantastic. Claudia Black as Chloe Fraser is still great, but she doesn't have as much to work with here. We got a new character played by Graham McTavish, Charlie Cuddle. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like this character. He just does nothing for me. Just falls completely flat. Robin Atkin Downs plays Talbot, and I don't like him either. I think this is a bad, bland villain. Like, there's. Yeah, I'll get into it a bit right now, actually. There's like a supernatural aspect to his character that's never once explained. He's like invincible, he can't die, but the game doesn't go into it, and I just thought he lacked any bit of depth. There was not anything interesting going on with him. Just a big ol' nothing character. Rosalind Iris as Marlowe. I do like the idea that they got an older woman to be the villain, but she just doesn't have much to work with. There are some scenes where she's really menacing and just scummy, but not enough. I still thought by the end that this was a lackluster villain, and Billy Ungo as young Nathan Drake does a very good job. So I'm a bit more mixed on the characters this time. Easily my least favorite villains, and let's begin talking about the story, and that is my biggest issue with this game because I actually think it's really bad. Now, this game does focus more on Nathan's and Sully's relationship, but it's very surface level. Like, they save each other a couple of times, but they don't really go in depth with it. And it felt like they wanted to really explore their relationship, but at the same time, I feel like they didn't give us anything new. So, that was a very underwhelming quality to this game. The relationship between Nathan and Elena is just baffling because we find out they got married, which is a big deal, but then they're separated. Not divorced, just separated. And it's just like, oh, so they got their happy ending, but then you split them up again. We already did this. Like, shit, you didn't need to do it again. And it's really frustrating because we don't really find out what went wrong. We've got some indications that Nathan just wouldn't give up these adventures, but it's not leaned into enough. So when they get back together at the end of the game, it doesn't really mean much. Like, what personal obstacle did Nathan have to overcome to get to that point? And it's not made clear and it's not done effectively. There is this attempt at a thematic core of why is Nathan doing this? Should he just give it up? And none of this worked for me because, first of all, this group of bad guys are literally after him and his ring. Number two, the villains are literally trying to release an evil. Like they're trying to poison people. So now it gets to the point where it's a good thing Nathan isn't giving it up, that he is doing this. Because if not, then something really bad could have happened. So, I know it's not fair to do this because this game came out in 2011 before Uncharted 4, but I have played Uncharted 4, a game that I love. And I actually think it tackles these ideas in a much more effective manner. And when I actually think about the trilogy as a whole, I feel like it's stronger if it's just 1, 2, then 4. I just feel like this is an unnecessary chapter. There's not enough going on character wise or story wise or thematically to make it feel essential. And it's just filled with these ideas that aren't handled well. The writing is just a huge step down, and so many individual moments pissed me off. Like there's one scene early on where they're in Marlowe's hideout and they put the ring in her decipher, and Nathan's like, okay, we gotta look for a golden hind. There will be a map inside of it, it will be here. And it's just like, how do you know that will be there? Like, it doesn't actually make a spot of sense. So I found that to be just some really weak writing. Like, all of the backstories and adventures in the other games are convincing, but right off the bat, that one line is so unconvincing that it completely pulled me out. And like I said, there was a supernatural, drugging, mind control element of Talbot that just fell completely flat. There was one scene with Talbot drugging Charlie, and it's just baffling how poorly this was done. Like, Nathan, Sully, and Chloe are around the corner, and they don't hear this happening just a few meters away. I didn't buy that for a second. Also, Charlie and Chloe were at Syria for an entire day and they accomplished nothing. The board sequence, just speaking narratively here, I'll talk about the gameplay later, but narratively, it's so unnecessary. Nathan wakes up, he's told by the pirate that he has Sully, so he has to rescue him, and then, surprise, he doesn't have him. It's just it's just there to fill the one time. And in some ways, I'm grateful because that's my favorite section of the game. But come on, you couldn't write it better. I hate how Nathan is in the desert, dying. Like, he hasn't had a drop of water. And then he finds some water, but it's undrinkable, so he keeps going. And then he encounters all these enemies and suddenly he gets his strength back. No, like, I'm all for separating the gameplay and the narrative, but that just completely took me out of it. That should have been cleaned water, so when he's actually fighting these guys, I'm not distracted. I actually buy it. The ending with the Atlantis of the Sands, I'm gonna be honest, as beautiful as it looks, and I'll talk about the graphics shortly, it just feels like been there, done that. Like, didn't we just do this with Shambhala? And it didn't really feel fresh or new, and the entire Jin storyline, I just hated. I really did. It didn't work for me. I thought the images in Layman were much more terrifying than what we actually got. And Sully's fake out death, I just hate moments like that because you want the emotional reaction without actually dedicating to it. And you've already faked out his death a couple of times here. It just feels like it's a one trick pony this entire game. And then shortly afterwards, he's drowning and Nathan has to save him again, and it just feels rinse and repeat throughout this entire game. And really, like, Nathan and Sully didn't swallow any water. Like, I didn't really buy that either. So I just got so many issues with the story. I think it's actively bad. Thematically, it doesn't work. Character-wise, it doesn't really work. It feels repetitive of Uncharted 2 and not in a good way. And it's just very frustrating. And the villains are once again the weakest. Like, they just don't stand out. The music by Greg Emerson is once again fantastic. So many great themes. And the graphics look amazing. You know, the characters look great. The environments are brought to life so perfectly. Just stunning work. But then we get to the gameplay. And the puzzles, I actually think, are a huge improvement. There's one where there's all these random body parts, and you have to capture it ever so perfectly using their shadows, and I love that. There's one where you have to walk on these tiles in the correct order, which is great. Shortly afterwards, there's one with a puzzle on the wall that I love. So there is some great puzzles here, but there's one stupid fucking globe one where you have to match the globe with the shadows, and this just pisses me off. It is the part of the game I least look forward to every time I've played it. The climbing continues to be great. The combat continues to be great. I love how you can throw back grenades. But let's talk about the best parts of this game, and it's just the fact there is some amazing, like when I say amazing, I mean best of all time in gaming history moments. And I truly mean that. Like, everything in the chateau with the bugs is really effective, but then the place is burning down and it's just thrilling. You're fighting people while there's fire surrounding you. The place is collapsing and you're trying to climb, but it keeps falling apart. Just top-notch stuff. There's also one great section in Yemen where they throw down some smoke bombs, and you can't see the people that well, but you still have to fight them. That's really great. There's a great chase scene through Yemen of Nathan going after Talbot the first time, and this sequence is just thrilling in perfection. But then we get to my favorite moment, which is everything that is so unnecessary to the story, but the shipyard section, just perfection. First of all, I love the music when you enter that area. It kind of sounds like the Marilyn Manson cover of Sweet Dreams Are Made of These, or at least the opening. Just, I don't know, maybe it's just me. But anyways, the shipyard is exciting while there's these people shooting at you in these boats and these turrets. And you can go from ship to ship, you can go underwater. Just incredible work, really. And then you enter this section where you're on these unstable platforms as waves are just coming in, and that's fantastic. Then you're in one boat going from one to the next, and this is fantastic. And then you're on this cruise where it's just really stormy out and it's shaking back and forth, and shipping containers and boxes are moving. Love this, except there's one section where you have to fight this big guy, which just gets frustrating. And then you're in this giant room as it floods, and like water's coming in and it's exciting. Then the ship tilts over and you're on the side of the ship, and this is just amazing. You're climbing up the hallways, going from door to door. You're in all these different rooms, climbing on the furniture. It's just amazing, and you fall on a chandelier, and then this entire glass window breaks, and you're getting chased by water. It's just as thrilling and as exciting as video game set pieces come. It is just perfection. But then to follow up with that, you've got this one section where you're on an airplane and all the cargo is falling off and you're shooting guys, and you end up falling off and you have to climb up, and the plane starts falling apart and you have to grab onto some cargo and pull the parachute. Amazing! Throughout these sequences, I just have the biggest smile on my face. The convoy scene where you're on the horses is really great. Truly reminded me of Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade. And then when the city falls apart, it is fun. We did just do it in Uncharted 2, but it's still really cool. But that all said, there's also some gameplay sections that do annoy me. And this game focuses more on hand-to-hand combat, which I'm kind of mixed on. The way the game begins, I didn't mind the flashback stuff, but between that and the bar fight and going through the tunnels, it takes a while for this game to truly get going. But then there's all these scenes where Nathan's drugged up and everything is blurry, and I just did not care for this. A complete miss. The ending section with the gens is just annoying. And there's some glitches here that stood out a lot more. There's one section in Syria where I've beaten it multiple times, perfectly stealthed the entire area, and then it just won't let you continue. It just won't let you. So then you have to restart it and go about it head on. It's just a very frustrating moment, and that has happened to me multiple times. And also, the most annoying moment of the game is the desert. Look, I get it. Plane crashed. I get it. But just speaking truthfully, anytime I play this game, I just dread this moment. It's not too long, it's like 15 minutes, but still, it's just 15 minutes of non-stop walking, and it's the same environment and the same dialogue, and it does lose my interest every time. So, yeah, anything else? I actually do like the moment with Nathan and Elena between the boat and the plane, where he's just falling asleep on her lap and he just apologizes. It's a real sweet moment. So I still love these characters. There is some amazing gameplay and it's still entertaining for the most part, but the story really holds this one back. It makes some baffling decisions. It feels like a case of been there, done that. It doesn't explore the characters as well as the game thinks it does. The thematic core just falls flat. The writing is just a noticeable step down. There are some really frustrating moments. But like I said, there's still enough I like here, but it's the worst of the franchise if you ask me. So I'll give Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception a 7 out of 10. Okay, have you played Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin